And we're back.
Hello, everyone. Today we've got a ton of news to cover in the worlds of tech, video games, and MMA. It's Friday, May 1st, 2020. Welcome to episode 10 of the Ginger and the Beard podcast. All right. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I'm AJ, aka the Ginger.
And I'm Reese, aka The Beard. Almost forgot my name.
And if you're just tuning into the stream or you're listening to the recorded version of the show, we just got done streaming For the King, which is a cool little turn-based strategy game. If you want to check that out and see how that went in our little mini review of the game, check out the recording on Twitch or YouTube, and make sure you check us out live next week as we pick another game to stream.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But now it's time we move into the podcast portion of the show, and we've got a lot to cover. But before we dive in, Mr. Ginger, how was your week, sir?
It was good. It was good. We made it through another week of working from home. I feel like every week we talk about this, but it was good. You know, honestly, today was the most stressful day of the week for me, which is not fair. Friday should just not be stressful. Friday should not be busy.
Right?
I need to protest this, but just the way my team works at my job, it's just Fridays are the most stressful days of the week every week. But we made it through. We're here now. We just played some video games, and I'm ready to do the podcast, man. I'm ready to talk about some fun stuff.
I'm ready to dive in.
How about you, man? How was your week?
It was good, man. Same kind of deal, right? End of the month, beginning of the month stuff. Work was stressful. You know, my desk. You know, the biggest thing that happened this week is my desk kind of broke on me. IKEA, you know, my
Rip.
mount was too heavy for it. Ripped my desk, and you know what? I bought all the supplies. I got some fir wood. I got glue. I got miter saw. I got everything I need. Stain and all that stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to wake up. I'm going to take care of some chores and whatnot. And then it's going to be getting my desk ready. It's probably going to take me a couple days to let the stain dry and everything. But you know what? I'm going to take before, middle, and after pictures. And I can't wait to have a new desk, dude. It's going to be great.
Instagram that. You should send me some pictures, actually, and I can post like on the Instagram story for the Ginger and the Beard and like do a little progression tracker. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna have some pictures in the morning. I got everything unboxed. It's all just kind of sitting there. So first picture is just gonna be what does it look like before? You know, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll send it. I'll do everything. I'm gonna put it on Discord and in Instagram, Twitter, all that good jazz. So you'll see.
Oh yeah, excited to see.
Yeah, man. So we made it through the week. And it's time for us to drink a little beer, talk about some news. So with that being said, good sir, what are you drinking today?
Oh man, I've got something special for you guys. And I teased it a little bit on Instagram earlier today because I'm like, I got something spectacular. So let me give you a little bit of history, a little bit of background here. So I talk about Farmhouse Brewing almost every single episode, and it doesn't end with this episode. But they released a beer. If you guys heard my intro, hey, all you cool cats and kittens, they released a beer hopping on the bandwagon of this special Netflix show that if you haven't watched, I highly suggest you do so right after this podcast. But they released a Tiger King IPA. And so they announced it like on a Monday or something, and they said like pre-sale goes live like Wednesday. I can't even remember what the exact dates were, but regardless, it was like a specific time of the morning that the pre-sale started. So I'm like counting down to it. I forgot to like set an alarm for myself, and I completely missed the release. So
Oh no.
they sold out of this Tiger King beer within minutes of the pre-sale being live. So you can imagine my disappointment in myself when I missed the window and the Tiger King beer slipped away from my grips. It was gone. It was so close. I could taste it. I could taste the exoticness of the beer, and it was gone.
Of the beer.
But there's a happy ending to this story. Number one, I have an amazing wife. She's my number one, my ride or die. Shayna, you're out there. I know you're listening. I love you. She took it upon herself to reach out to Farmhouse Brewing and let them know that I was very disappointed I did not get to purchase one. And somehow she did her magic and secured me a can of the Tiger King IPA. Look at this glorious, glorious can. So
Oh
yes,
my
that is.
God.
It looks like Joe Exotic. It's not actually Joe Exotic, but it
They
damn
tried.
sure looks like him. Yes. And this is actually brewed in collaboration with, let me read here. What I can't remember what the guy's name is. Joey Exotic Johnson. He's from Corks and Kegs, which is a craft beer store out of Richmond. Um,
What the hell?
so brewed in collaboration with him. Tiger King IPA. I almost don't even want to open this up because I feel like at one point this is going to be worth some money. But they have since actually re-released the beer because it was so popular. But I feel this is an extra special can. So thank you, number one, to my wife for securing that, and number two to Farmhouse for making that happen. Actually, it's Back Bay. We had to go down to a different location to pick it up. So thank you guys all around. But just some stats on it. It's a Citra hops IPA, so it's going to be a little citrusy. I don't know what the actual, let's see, the ABV is on this sucker. Should be pretty strong if it's a Joe Exotic. I mean, come on.
If it's got tiger blood in it, it's at least
It's
50%.
got, yeah. It's a New
50%
England
tiger
IPA.
blood, 50% Joe Exotic blood,
Where is this?
100%
Where is this?
alcohol.
Oh, it's a 7%. It's not that heavy. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack
That's
this
pretty
open,
good.
give it a little pour.
Let's see it.
Um,
Let's see this.
Let's see what this looks like. A little bit of first tasting action. Oh yeah. All
Good
right,
stuff.
ready for this?
Look at that. Look at that clear glass right there. Nice.
I appreciate you noticing that clear glass.
Look how
Oh,
nice and
yeah.
clean it is. Oh, look at that.
Mm,
Perfect pour.
Yes, lots of head on that. That's a lot of head there. But yeah, right to the brim. That's a pretty good pour if I do say so myself.
Looks good. Let's get that taste tester in. How are we doing here?
Very citrusy, pretty
Okay.
light, pretty crisp. That's
Okay.
tasty. I'm not disappointed that I cracked that open.
All right, good, good. That's how you end a stressful week right there. Cracking a nice,
Oh, yeah.
delicious brew.
That's
Very
it.
cool.
What about you, man? What do you got?
All right,
What are you
so
drinking tonight?
I have been sitting on this beer for a while now. You know that I haven't really gone out and I haven't been buying a whole lot of beer lately. So this is the last, and I know I think I said it a couple times already. Like I keep finding beer. This is 100% the last beer that I have in my house. Okay. And it's a winner, right? So this is the Hardywood Bourbon Barrel Gingerbread Stout. It's a winter only beer, and we're in May now. So I've had this beer for at least 5 months. You can't get it in stores right now. So if you weren't holding on to it, then you don't have it. So Hardywood, first off, is based out of Richmond, Virginia, very close to where I am. Local. I like to support them as much as I can. They have all kinds of really good beers. So if you get a hold of any Hardywoods, if you see them in the store, make sure to check them out. They do a lot of different like flavored beers, flavored stouts. This one right here got a 97 on Beer Advocate, right? So 97
Whoa.
out of 100. Like, I mean, we're talking top notch, right? If not top notch, very close too. So it's a well sought after beer. People love when it comes out. 10.2% alcohol. Wow. So
Whoa.
yeah. You know what? That's incorrect. It's 11.5. My bad. It's 11.5. Sorry. So this is it's a stout. It's going to be a sweet stout, heavy on the molasses. Let's go ahead and crack this sucker open. I don't know if I'm going to be
Yeah.
able to drink this all. Like this is, might not be able to get through the stream if I drink it all. So we're gonna take it slow.
How
All right,
many
so
how many ounces is that?
it's a pint, so it's 750 milliliters, so it's a fifth, right? Isn't that what a fifth is?
I don't know.
So I don't really
Yes.
know either, but it's 1.9.4 fluid ounces. Am I saying that wrong? 1 pint. Haven't even started drinking yet. 1 pint. 1 pint.
It's 1.9.
1 pint.
You sound like you're like you're some German guy.
Dude, I really hope that this doesn't explode on me.
Oh man,
Oh,
that would
do
be
you see
great
the-
for the show though.
Do you see
A
the
little
like?
little bit of steam action. Is that? I don't know. Can you
Yeah.
call it steam? I don't know.
It's like carbonization. All right, so let's go ahead and get this. I hope I don't mess this up. Oh yeah, look at that. It's freaking blacker than.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man.
Look at how dark it is. Um, it's like coffee. This is basically
Yeah, that
coffee.
looks so good. Mm,
Yeah. All right, let's try it
mm.
out.
Give us a taste. Give us a
As I
taste of that dark
as I
magic.
expected. As I expected. Heavy on the molasses, very sweet. You know, it actually tastes like a gingerbread cookie. Like this
Oh yeah.
this tastes like a gingerbread cookie. Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, gingerbread cookie. That's definitely it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I would do that again. I recommend this to anybody. I don't know so much about winter or summertime because it's very heavy, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well, you.
but when it's cold out, this will warm me up.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. Actually, I had a stout from Farmhouse. I just do all my beer shopping at Farmhouse recently because it's so easy to order and go pick it up. So you know what? If you got a problem with me going to Farmhouse, just you know what, holla at me.
You better
But
call them and
anyways,
say, "Listen, you guys need to sponsor us."
give me a T-shirt. Just give me a
Something.
T-shirt. I
Yeah.
know. I just love that place. Anyways, I had a 13% stout from them 2 nights ago. It's called a Home Sweet Home Stout, but
Oh,
that was
sounds
delicious.
sounds
That was
sweet. It was
delicious.
it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. It
Okay.
actually it almost had like a bourbony sort of barrel aged taste to it, but very
Nice.
caramely, vanilla. It was very sweet and good. But the gingerbread, you know what? I like gingerbreads enough that I would drink a gingerbread beer year round.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I will drink these beers, but like I couldn't sit down and drink a bunch of them. But what I do know is both you and I have some very interesting beers tonight. It's usually they're not like
Yes,
this over the top. So
I know.
um, pretty cool that
I
we
just want
both
to do a
got some
little.
good ones.
Let's go ahead and hold that bottle up. I'm gonna hold my can up. This is gonna be a good Instagram post.
Yes, yes, there it is.
We
Boom.
gotta hold still for a long time, or else YouTube makes it really hard to get screenshots.
All right.
All right, that's probably good. Pardon the interruption there, everyone.
Awkward. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. What
All
are you
right,
guys
so
drinking out there tonight? If anybody's in the stream currently and you're drinking a beer or anything else, maybe it's just orange juice, or if you're listening to this on YouTube or looking at us on Instagram, what are you guys drinking? We want to know about it. Leave us a comment.
yeah, give us some recommendations. Maybe something we've never tried before. I
Yeah,
always want to try new things, and very potential that if you recommend something to us, we'll try it on stream. So, throw them out there. We'll do it.
absolutely. All
All
right,
right.
so I think it's about time we transition into some topics, and I think the first one we got on the list is some tech news, right?
I think you're right about that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit us with that transition music starting now. All
Cool.
right, and we're back. That was like a 3-second little pause there. We're back though. Okay, guys. So it is time for us to dive into some tech news. So the first thing right now that I want to jump into is a is some virtual reality news, right? So you guys know, I have a VR headset. I like doing some VR stuff. I love. I think it's great. I think it's the future. I think that companies are going to start using it. I think you're going to see it in everybody's household before long. As soon as the market price for your standard head-mounted display drops, you're going to see it in everyone's house. I mean, it's. I think the trend is going to go there. I think there's a bit of a curve, but we're going to hit a tipping point, and everybody's going to start having it. So
Inevitable.
right now, and let me show you one of my controllers real quick. So when you're playing in the VR headset, you have one of these controllers, right? And there's a thing called haptic feedback, which is basically just like vibrations. So your controller vibrates, but that's like all the haptic feedback. So like if you get shot, this will vibrate. Okay. Well, they're trying to add additional like haptic feedback or different ways to be more immersed into the game. So I'm going to share this video real quick. It's a 2-minute video that I would like to show on screen. And so Carnegie Mellon, a group of 4 students at Carnegie Mellon, mechanical engineers came up with this basically concept, right? So let me go ahead and show this to you. It's a 2-minute video just so that you kind of get an idea, um, for what I'm talking about here. So, all right, you should be able to see it now. AJ, tell me if you can't.
Yep, I got you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit play.
So for the audio listeners, do you want to describe what's happening?
Yeah. Well, they should be able to hear it too, but it's it's basically a system that you wear on your shoulders, and there's wires that connect from your shoulders to your fingers and your hands and your wrist, and and what she just said describes it basically.
Wow, that's pretty wild, man.
You see what's happening though?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll yeah. All right, so that's it. That's all you really that's basically the gist of it is you wear this harness on your shoulders. It's connected to your hand and wrist, and your fingers with wires. And as you like reach out in a virtual reality environment, certain touch points of this device will like lock in as if you're touching something in front of you, right? And so one of the things that they showed was like a pull, basically. So as you reached out, your hand kind of locked so that it was more or less like your hand was like grasping around the pole. If you touch a wall, then everything will be flat when you reach out. And then there was like a lion's face, and the hand kind of like curved around the lion's face, right? So this is a concept. It's something that is, very, it's like in its infancy, right? But it's good to see that they're coming up with these like very unique solutions, more or less. Sorry. Let me get this back over to us. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think like going down this route, right? I think it would be difficult if because all that they were doing was this like kind of motion where they're just like reaching out. Like in VR, you're swinging from the
Yeah.
side, over top, all over the place. So I'm not sure how functional it would be, but I like where they're going with it. What do you think?
Yep. No, I think it's dope. I think if they could figure out how to just basically string those wires down your arm so that like whenever your arms are moving, it's just kind of seamless and attached to some sort of sleeve, that'd be amazing because I think, and then maybe I couldn't hear the audio on my end, but so if they were touching that lion's face, was it essentially activating resistance in each of those bands based on the contour of the shape they were trying to touch? Is that what the idea is?
Yeah, so further on in the video, it kind of shows you like a little bit of like the software, not the a little bit of the software, like the programming behind it. So it's like as you reach out, the hand will recognize like spatially how far away from
Yeah.
how far away from the cameras it is, and then it'll like start locking up certain touch points at certain distances.
Yeah.
And so
That's cool because I've always thought about that. Like I've never actually used any of those motion track controllers in VR before, but like hearing people talk about like, oh, you're holding a gun or you're picking up a ball to throw or whatever. Like, well, yeah, but like all you're actually doing is like getting your controller close to something and squeezing a little trigger to actually pick up a ball, and then you're releasing the trigger to throw or whatever. But how much
right.
cooler would it be if you could actually, like with the resistance bands, actually feel like you're grabbing a ball because your fingers can't move any further.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it
Exactly.
actually feels like a round, like that would be pretty amazing. And talking about immersion, that would be next level.
It's like going down that route. Like when does it become like too real? Who knows? They do have a way now to tell, like instead of having a controller, you can just wear these gloves and it'll allow you to like pick things up, and some of them don't have like the feedback, but it'll at least let you have like full control of your appendages in the game. But then there's also some gloves that will lock up, but it's like very limited where it'll just like lock your fingers out straight or lock your wrist out straight.
Yeah.
but what we just saw with that is it's like it creates like way more realism. I like your idea of having a sleeve and then you know trying to implement some type of technology that replicates what we just saw.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
let's be real here for a second. What we really want is the Matrix, where they just plug something into the back of your head and it takes full control of all your neurons and all your nerve pathways. And as soon as you see that lion's face, it can contort all your fingers exactly to what the lion's face would feel like.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh no.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not really that far off. I mean, I think I've heard that they are doing like studies with people where they can actually implant chips in your brain, and have actually,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they use it for people who have like some sort of paralysis, um, and can help them like control their arms, their legs, whatever, by sending electrical signals through your nerves.
Yeah, there's one lady that has basically she's got like a battery, and then she's got this like wire system harness that goes into her brain, and she's got metal sheeting basically that covers a portion of her brain, and she's completely blind. But since she has that going on, she can now see like certain dots. Basically, she can't like her eyes don't work, but this pad sends electrical signals that allow her to like see kind of these like little dots or like outlines of people. Look it up. It's very
That's wild.
interesting.
That's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Man, that's some
All
cool
right.
stuff, man.
Yeah, I gotta love it, man. Good news there. So,
Yeah, so
what next?
yeah, I mean, I think this dovetails nicely into the AR story that you found about improving the transit system. I mean, speaking of VR, AR kind of goes right alongside that. So what's this all about? This UX case study?
So basically, Atlanta's trying to spruce things up. We could share the link also if anyone else wants to check it out. But basically, using AR to improve the transit system in Atlanta. So basically, there's been a lot of um, complaints about things being too confusing. If you've ever ridden on any kind of metro, um, the first time getting on it, right, you just don't really know what's going on. So if you don't have somebody with you, kind of like holding your hand through it all, then it gets very complicated. So a team of developers have been working to create a better system, basically using altered reality, which isn't built into anything yet. I mean, you can maybe look at it on your phones or look at it on your glasses when they come out with those altered reality glasses. But the goal here is to make it more like user friendly, right?
Yep.
Arrows, in real time, like different images, basically like pointing you in the right direction. So just going down this route of virtual reality, altered reality, like I think it's gonna be the future, and
Yeah.
people maybe in 10 years from now everybody's going to be wearing a special pair of glasses that turns everything into altered reality. So that being said, it was a short kind of article. That was the gist of it. Is trying to implement a more user friendly system for people using the metro. So that's pretty cool. I got one more, and then I think, and I'm gonna hand it off to you. Nvidia, right? Everybody loves Nvidia. I think for the most part, I have Nvidia graphics cards. They had the RTX 20 series come out at the end of 2019. We haven't heard anything since then. It's been a while, and about every 6 to 8 months they come out with something new. So we're like right there now, where it's time for them to give us some more information. So nothing official yet, but it's been reported that the distributing partners for Nvidia's graphics cards, Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, have started reducing their shipments of RTX 20s, and it's a good indicator that they're preparing for the release of the RTX 30 series, and uh, the assumption right now is that it's going to be released during the second half of 2020, right? So we don't know for sure. I do know one thing: Nvidia's GTC keynote, right, where we find out about all the up and coming things for the year for Nvidia, is going to be happening on May 14th. So if you want to find out live, which I certainly do, if they're going to be releasing this RTX series later this year, then tune in May 14th, and hopefully there's some good news for gamers out there. I would love to see a more advanced ray tracing amazing, just beautiful. What's next, right? What else can they do with graphics cards? They're so amazing at this point, but yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. I was like, what? Didn't they just release the 20 series? Like, I feel like that's like almost brand new still. Like, they're already
yeah.
moving on from the 20 series. I mean, how long was the 10 series? I mean, the 10 is still. I mean, do they still make 10 series?
I think that was like 2018 when they started doing those. They still
The
do
10
like
series.
the 1080 Ti's are still like high quality, but um,
Yeah.
they're not the best. I mean, if you want the best, you got to go with the 2080 the RTX 2080
Right.
Ti, I think it is. But they did the RTX 20 series, and then they did the RTX 20 series, like the super version, which basically like
Mm.
stepped everything up. So that was the most recent one that just happened back in like the end of, I think it was like December time frame when they did that, and then a few months before that they did the actual RTX series. So we're at that time now where it's like every 6 to 8 months we get something new, or at least we learn about something new. So we're
Yeah.
on that cusp. So
Yeah, definitely.
stay
Yeah,
tuned.
I'll be interested to see. I mean, do they typically do that keynote in person? Is that usually an event people attend, or is that like a virtual conference?
You know what? Very good point. I don't know. I need to check into that actually, but my
Yeah.
assumption right now is that it's going to be virtual because,
Yeah.
uh, I don't. I just don't. I think it's in China. It's in China, so I'd be surprised to see if yeah if they do that in person, right? I doubt it, but I have to look into it. So for now, stand by because I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. That's awesome, man. All right, well, on the mobile front, we got some exciting news to share. I think like right before the last episode we recorded, because we didn't do a podcast last week. We had a brand new phone launch. We got a couple of phones to talk about here. You know, I'm a big phone guy. We got a couple new Android phones out right now. So number one, the OnePlus 8 series released on April 14th. They announced it. And so I'm interested. Like I follow OnePlus, and I know a few people who have OnePlus devices, and my question really is: has OnePlus lost, or have they found their way? Have they lost their way, or have they found their way? Because if you remember the OnePlus One, it came out. I think the starting price was like 300, maybe 400,
Oh
and it
wow.
came out and was positioned as the flagship killer. So it was supposed to have like these top notch specs at a low cost, and the way they got away with that is they had to make sacrifices with like the screen. They didn't have the display quality like some of the other manufacturers have. The build quality, it was a plastic device, but they made up for it with performance hardware. So as the years have gone by, they've continued to up their specs. They've continued to up their build quality. Their software has become a little bit more in line with what Google does as a stock operating system. But they use something called Oxygen OS, which used to be a lot more customizable as well. So not only were you getting top of the line specs, but you were getting an operating system that was more customizable. It was almost like having a rooted device without having to do the rooting yourself, and that's what the appeal was for a lot of people. But now here we are in 2020. The OnePlus 8 series has released, and the starting price for I think it's the OnePlus 8 Pro is $899. So we're at
800.
flag 800.
899.
Yeah, 899. So we're at flagship level prices at this point. I mean, iPhone 11 Pro Max, whatever this thing is called, is like 1100. So it's still a little bit more expensive. But if you look at something like a Samsung S20, I don't have the number right in front of me, but it's right along the same lines. It's probably about $1,000 as well. But 899 is pretty close. And yeah,
Yeah.
you are getting a lot more power. You're getting an 120 hertz display, which is freaking amazing. If you play games on your phone, I mean, you can't get much better than that. It's 6.8 inches with the display size. It's got 12 gigs of RAM out the box, a Snapdragon 856 top of the line processor, in-screen fingerprint reader, QHD resolution, and it's got, I mean, stock-ish Android. Like I said, it's Oxygen OS is their software, but it's basically stock Android. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't like Samsung's TouchWiz, they don't call it TouchWiz anymore. I think it's like Samsung One or something like that. Or you don't like some of the skins of the other manufacturers, then OnePlus is probably a good route for you to go if you're not going to go with like a Google Pixel phone. But But again,
Okay.
it also, sorry, the last thing, it's got 5G capability. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, is it weird that OnePlus is kind of like they're just slowly inching their way up to that flagship level cost?
I
I'm not
think
sure what the
it's.
strategy is.
I'm not sure either. It sounds like this is still like mid level, right? I love the 120 hertz display in the 12 gigabytes of RAM. Oh man, that's like music to my ears, dude.
Yeah.
The display size also, like, yeah, I like where they're going with this. Um, so what's keeping them from being in the top competition? I would assume that it's something on the software side, right? Or what do you
I
think
think
it is?
it's
Is it the name or what?
it's the name, it's the branding. You know, Joe Blow off the street has no idea who OnePlus is or what their story is or what their background is. But Samsung is a household brand. So Samsung's always going to have the upper leg because they just have the branding. I mean, it's just, you can't compete with that marketing budget that they have. So that I think that's really the big killer. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think anybody who owns a OnePlus phone would probably tell you that it's just as good as any other flagship phone out there. But you can't call it a flagship killer anymore because it's the same price as a flagship phone. So I think it's
The
interesting that
thing that
they're good.
the thing that scares me is, it's 8.99, right? And it's got all of this quality, but like, since it's a lesser known name, how do we know like how good the actual build quality is? Is it going to last a year? Is the battery going to explode in your ear? Like, who knows, right? Uh,
Yeah,
that would be my problem with buying it.
yeah, I think I mean just coming from having a lot of Android phones, I do use an iPhone now, but I have had many Android phones in the past and been involved in that industry. I think what it comes down to with phones a lot of the time is software. Your software starts to get buggy, your phone gets a lot slower. I mean, your CPU gets kind of out of date. And with OnePlus having such a bare bones software, almost stock Android, like a Pixel device, I think it will last you a little while. I mean, it's hard to say without actually using the phone, but I mean, I've had
Right.
Samsung phones, I've had LG phones, I've had the Google Pixel, I've had all kinds of Motorola's, I've had all kinds of phones, and at some point they all start to deteriorate when it comes to battery life, CPU performance, and their software just gets super buggy and unusable at times. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I personally know Toby that I work with has a OnePlus 7T, I think, or 7 Pro, and it's a beautiful phone. It looks amazing. The performance is very snappy. So I'm kind of interested to kind of get my hands on a OnePlus 8 and maybe go into a store and test it out and just see what it's all about. But speaking of Motorola actually this week launched the Motorola Edge Plus, which is another flagship level device, which is weird coming from Motorola because they've typically stuck to that mid-tier level. They're not quite at the bottom. They're not definitely not at the top. But Motorola, who used to be like a dominant player in the space, has usually stick in that middle range, and now they're trying to inch their way back up. So if you guys remember, they just launched the Motorola. Oh man, I should have written this down. I think it was the Z Flip, I think, or actually, sorry, no, not the Z Flip. It's the Motorola Razr, of a throwback phone from the old Razr days where you had that flip device. They now have a flip smartphone. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. And it got mixed reviews. I think the gimmick of it had people excited. Compared to a lot of other flip devices, it was better quality than those. That's still kind of a weird, uncharted territory sort of space. But the Motorola Edge Plus is more standard phone design. It's just a single slab of glass. It's not folding. It's not doing anything crazy. But what I think is weird about this, let me just run through the specs really quick. It's $999, so it's more expensive than the OnePlus 8. And the specs are not quite as good. So it's a 90 hertz refresh rate. It's got 12 gigabytes of RAM, so the same amount of RAM. It's got an in-display fingerprint reader. It's only got a 1080p screen, which is almost like unexcusable in this time. Some people don't care, but I think most people can look at a 1080p phone versus a QHD phone and tell the difference. It's got 5G capability, but it's got a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So that not many phones out there you will find with a headphone jack these days. So,
But that's like
and then
that's not. Would you call that a good thing though? The
so
3.5.
dude, some audiophiles out there swear by the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack even to this day. They think that produces better audio quality, and also people just like to bitch that their headphones can't plug into their phone. I'm like, dude, if you don't have a pair of USB-C headphones at this point or Bluetooth headphones, then maybe you should look inwards. Maybe you should look in the mirror and then come back to, like, come on. But whatever.
I
So
see their point, though. I do see their point.
yeah, I mean, if you just love that pair of Audio Technica headphones that you bought back in 2014 and you really like to use those, then I can see where you're frustrated. Um,
Jeez, coming down with the
sorry,
hammer, huh?
sorry, man, sorry. I don't know.
Sorry,
Check
let
out
it
the
all
Google.
out.
Just check out the Google Pixel Buds. They just came out with some new ones. They're pretty sweet. You'll like them. Go get some. They're Bluetooth. Anyways, the Motorola Edge Plus. So what's interesting about this is that it has an Edge display. So maybe I should pull up a picture of it just to kind of help illustrate here. Motorola
Yeah, throw it up. Throw it up there.
Edge Plus. I probably should have had this preloaded before we started the show, but you know what? That's just kind of how we roll.
As soon as you share it, I'll full screen it.
I'm
People can see
gonna
it.
share my screen.
I'm surprised that the whole 1080p thing is an issue. All right, I'm gonna enlarge it because, like, on such a small device, you would just like, how could anyone tell the difference between 1080p and like 2K or 4K? Right? I don't know.
I think I can tell the difference when I look at a Samsung phone, and it's just so much more crisp. Like, all the colors look a lot more brilliant. They look a lot brighter, and just the details and things. I think you can tell. Like, if you get close enough, not that you're like getting your face super close to the screen, but I don't know. I personally, maybe this is just me coming from a techie background. I can definitely tell the difference.
Okay.
All right, so this is the Motorola Edge Plus. So it looks like a nice premium display. But what we want to focus on here is the fact that it's this Edge display, and none of these pictures are really doing it justice. But you can kind of see here in this picture. I wish I was a way to make this bigger. Yeah, I guess you guys can kind of see in this picture. But so essentially the display wraps around the edge of the phone, which is not an uncommon thing these days. This one just takes it a little bit further. But what's interesting about it is they've integrated that into the software of the device, and they're doing some things with the edge screen there, to kind of allow for a little bit more user input and also some information. So I want to try to get through this kind of quick, but just some things to roll through here. You can see these blue lights here. So essentially when you plug your phone into charge, these blue lights pop up as an indicator of charging. When you're scrolling through Instagram, you can slide your finger alongside the device and you can kind of scroll up or down without touching the front of the phone, which is kind of cool. You can swipe in from the left side or the right side to pull out like essentially a taskbar, which has like different app shortcuts to get to. And if you turn the phone horizontally, like you're playing a game, you can use that edge screen as like a left and a right bumper, essentially, to do different inputs within the game. So they are doing some interesting things with it. But what is annoying to me is that they're positioning, if you read some of these articles, you read the press release for this phone, they're positioning it as like this revolutionary technology. Recently, I'm going to jump back to just doing my video. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We got you. Got you back.
And they're positioning it as like this new revolutionary technology like no one's ever done before. But guys, do you not remember the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge? Like, they came out with this technology so long ago. Samsung was the first ones to do an edge screen. And at first when it came out, it was only on the right side. It was only on the right edge. And it was the exact same thing. Like, it literally had a swipe in to reveal a taskbar for you to pick apps from. If you laid the phone face down, which the Motorola one does this too, if you laid the phone face down and a notification came in, you'd see like a little light indicator from that side screen that wraps around saying like, hey, you got a notification, you got a call incoming. The Motorola, you can program different contacts that have different colors, so you can kind of get an idea of who's calling you or texting you just from looking at the side of the screen. So I'm not discounting the fact that that's an interesting software feature, but I'm discounting the fact that they're positioning it as if they had this idea first. Samsung did this a long time ago. They decided the gimmick wasn't worth it, and they ditched it. And now we've just got infinity displays that kind of not wrap around the edges, but they just basically get rid of bezels. So that's just kind of my annoyance.
I do like the gaming bumpers idea. That's something that out of everything that you've said, like that's the only thing that's really like interested me because I had a 7S Edge or a 7 Edge, and
Yeah.
whatever. I never used like the Edge stuff that much.
Right. Yeah, so that's my gripe with that. So I'm happy to see Motorola kind of inching their way back up into the premium space because they are a great manufacturer. I mean, who doesn't like Motorola? They've been a player in the phone space since way back in the day. So I'd love to see them kind of make a comeback. And somebody needs to challenge Samsung at some point, and give them a run for their money. So Motorola, I'm rooting for you. OnePlus, I'm rooting for you. But hopefully you guys can ditch these gimmicks, and OnePlus, hopefully you can get that price back down a little bit so you have a snowball's chance in hell against Samsung.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it seems like a very tough market all around, right? How are
Oh
you going to
yeah,
beat iPhone or Huawei or Samsung? All of these, less popular companies. It's a
right.
challenge for them, but there's a lot of options, and I'm sure there's reasons that people might go with the Edge. Maybe they wish that the 7 Edge was still around. They loved it, and now it's not really supported too much. So, yeah,
Yep.
who knows?
True.
I'm
True.
sure
True.
there's a market for it. But $1,000, that's kind of steep. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Shall we transition into some UFC?
Yes, I can't wait. I love UFC. Let's do this. I'm gonna transition. All right, and we're back, ready to talk about some UFC shenanigans. Guys, what a crazy time it's been for, just sports in general, but the UFC, like I just can't believe some of the stuff that they're doing right now to make this event happen. Okay? But before I get into the event, we have some very interesting news. AJ, Mr. Ginger, would you like to go ahead and tell us about what happened yesterday?
Yes. Are you talking about with Luke, Mr. Luke?
Yeah,
All
I
right,
want to
yes,
hear
I
it.
would
Let's
love
hear
I
it.
would love to talk about this. So this comes from the insider.com. So hopefully this isn't like some fake site and I'm like spreading rumors. I'm assuming Insider is credible. Who knows? If not, whatever. It's a fun story anyways. So I'm going to kind of abbreviate this story here a little bit. So Luke Rockhold, as you guys might know, I think he was a middleweight champion at one point. So he's fighting around like 170 or somewhere in that range. Pretty popular dude. He's around like 35 now. So he used to tell I don't know how the Insider got this scoop, but did an interview with the Insider, and essentially Luke Rockhold was walking his dog in the Santa Monica area, and he was coming up on a bench essentially out about 25 feet away from him, and he notices this girl who looks to be woman who looks to be homeless. She looks like she's on some sort of illegal substance. He assumed it was like crystal meth or something like that, something really bad. He said she looked really kind of dingy and nasty, but you're probably using meth or something. And he said as he approached her, he could see she glanced up at him and then sort of glanced away. And then as he got about 15 feet away from her. He said, as I got closer, she popped up out of nowhere and ran at me like some zombie. It was wild. It was like the last thing I expected. I was just walking and minding my own business with my dog, and this chick just runs at me within 15 feet. So this girl who's probably on some sort of substance charges at Luke Rockhold, this mountain of a man, right? He said she just jumped up and started running at me like "Arr!" and she started hawking a loogie like she was gonna spit on me, trying to scare me or infect me. So he's analogizing this girl with a zombie. He said, I don't know what she was on, but I didn't look like anything I wanted to be around.
I
So
mean,
here's where it gets good.
go ahead,
Can you
dude.
blame him? Can you blame him? So this is Luke Rockhold, mind you, a former UFC champion. So he said, this is where it gets hilarious. He said, as it got close to me, it being the girl, I just reared up with a vicious front kick and launched that thing in the air. The thing just went up, landed on the ground, and literally started quivering like a vampire frying in the sun or something.
Oh my
So,
god.
yeah, he said, honestly, it happened so quick, I didn't even think of anything. I didn't think she was even paying attention. I thought she was pretty out of it on drugs or something. Um,
Dude, I'm just
s-
like, what does crystal meth do to you that you would want to run at Luke Rockhold? I'm just like, oh my god, dude, that girl's lucky that he didn't hit her with like a roundhouse or something, because she might not be alive.
no, definitely. That's like, I sort of like halfway feel a bad. Dude, I mean, I can't blame him at all. Like, if somebody starts charging at you, regardless of who they are, how big they
Good,
are, or whatever, and they look like they're on some drugs and they're gonna spit on you, like, I think you have all right to defend yourself. Um,
absolutely, yeah.
but
I don't think he
that
got.
poor woman,
He
she's
wouldn't have gotten
probably
in
laid
trouble
up in
for
a
that.
hospital. No,
She
I don't think so
probably.
either.
I mean, if she's not in the hospital, she's gonna be sore for a few days.
Yeah, I was like, she's probably got a couple of broken ribs, depending on where he landed that kick. But
And the moral of the story is, don't do drugs.
drugs are bad, okay?
Wow, dude. I
Yeah.
can't believe that. Luke Rockhold
So
is a character, but
yeah,
man,
glad you're okay, Luke Rockhold, and best of wishes for that woman. Hopefully, she's getting the help she needs. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
drugs make you into zombies, kids. Don't do
Yeah.
drugs.
Or you might
So what
get
else we
kicked
got?
in or you might get kicked by a UFC fighter, so be careful. All right,
Yeah.
so UFC 249 coming up next week, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh
Isn't
my
it? It's
gosh, it is May 9th, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So next week, May 9th, it's gonna be kind of weird, right? So they're doing it at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, Jacksonville, Florida. It's the first time in UFC history that they're going to be doing a virtual media day, right? So that's kind of weird. So like the press before, the
That will
press
be interesting.
after, all of that stuff. Like I can't figure out how they're gonna do that. Because they have large press conferences afterwards. Um, is it just going to be like, are they going to be taking like write in letters on questions and whatnot? Like, I'm not really
Well,
sure.
here's a question: how are they going to do weigh-ins virtually? How do you guarantee that your weigh-ins not like rigged? Are
How
they
do
going to do
you?
weigh-ins in person? I guess they're going to have to do weigh-ins in person. I don't know how you
I,
get around that.
I think that that's one thing that is going to have to happen. Like the referee is going to have to be present. It's going to have to be like, maybe a couple media people. Who knows? Like, are they
Yeah.
just are they going to broadcast that to everyone? I just Now, hear me out. A couple years back, somebody hacked into one of the media events and started like posting like some naughty noises. Okay, I don't know if you remember that. You can look it up though. I'm interested to see if somebody hacks into this virtual media day and does something similar. I'm
Oh
just
man.
saying, it would be very very funny to see that. So. There's a long list of people that are going to be a part of this virtual media. Some of the top people: Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, who are the main event, and of course,
Yep.
Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz, who are the co-main event. A laundry list of other very popular fighters are going to be there as well. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to be weird. I'm very interested to see how it goes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Me too. I'm interested in seeing like what the attendance is at the actual event. I mean, I guess they have to still stick. So, where did you say this is at? The ViStar Veterans Memorial in Jacksonville, Florida. So, I mean, that's not
yeah,
the original event before it was officially canceled was going to happen on an Indian reservation. So they can kind of skirt around some of those U.S. regulations. But I'm not sure what the regulations are in Jacksonville. But I'm pretty sure the social distancing thing is still kind of in effect. Like, maintain your distance, limit your number of people in any given space. Regardless of if certain businesses are open back up, how are they going to respect those sort of regulations? So that'll be interesting.
yeah. I agree. I think I don't think Florida's too strict on it all, but yeah, I'm cautiously. You used this term last week, cautiously optimistic, right? So, I want it to happen, but I'm not going to be surprised if something goes south.
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell me a little bit about this Fight Island.
All
We
right.
knew
So
about it, but it's official.
it's official. Yeah. I mean, it was made official back a couple weeks ago when they were still trying to figure out where this UFC 249 was going to happen. And so then the news broke that Dana White pulled out his baller card and was like, I'm buying an island. If we can't have this fight in the United States, I'm buying an island. And we're flying everybody to this island, right? And so you and I even speculated, like, so okay, so he bought an island. There's a week from the point of him purchasing an island to the fights happening. So how are they going to build an arena at that point? Are they going to have an octagon on the beach? You damn right they're going to have an octagon on the beach. They're going to have an octagon on the beach. Dana White has confirmed this.
I just
How awesome is this?
I mean, is this Street Fighter? This is Street Fighter, right? Like,
Dude, it's
I
so
just don't
awesome,
even know,
man.
man. This is really
this is, like,
cool.
This is from credible source. This is from Dana White's mouth himself, reported by CBS Sports. There's going to be an octagon on the beach. I mean, what else do you want to know?
Is there just going to be like
circled around?
Is there going to be like waves crashing in the back, like the backdrop? Like,
I hope so. I really hope they install like a wire like camera like they have for the NFL. So like as the fight's happening, they can kind of like wire around it, or just like there's just drones circling. And like, I don't even know, man. How weird is that going to be though? Like in a typical UFC event, the whole arena is dark. It's black except for the spotlights on the octagon. Okay, so let's speculate here for a second. If it's daytime, you can see every bit of the crowd. You can see the beaches. You can see the water, the waves crashing. Okay, that's great. If it's nighttime, spotlights on the octagon. What are they going to have it like? Tiki torches surrounding the octagon. The walkout music's gonna be like bump 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 bump
travel drums. I love it,
dude. This sounds like the coolest thing ever, and it sounds like the making of a reality TV show. I can't wait.
I'm very excited too, man. Let's see how this goes. Do we know when the first event is gonna be? Did they say?
The first Fight Island event? Actually, I'm not sure. I know they've announced a few other events, a few other fight nights coming up. Like a couple of weeks following this UFC 249, but I think they also take place in Florida.
Okay.
And not on Fight Island. That's a great episode. That's a great show title for the reality TV show, Fight Island.
Fight Island. I love it. Well, that brings us to the end of our UFC shenanigans. We're kind of running to the end of the hour here, so I'm going to go ahead and transition again, and we're going to end this quickly with some video gaming news. So be right back. And we're back. All right, guys. So every week I make sure to tell everybody about the Epic Game Store releases, right? So right now, Amnesia: The Dark Ascent is a $20 game that's for free. It's a first-person survival horror. It's about immersion, discovery, living through a nightmare, and it's supposed to chill you to the core. I have it. I haven't tried it out yet.
It looks super creepy. It looks really weird.
It does. I'm not a big fan of like the scary games, so I don't know if I'm gonna play it or not. But it's free. It's free, so just go get it. I mean, why not?
Why not? I'm always tell people I'm man enough to tell you that I am so scared of horror movies and horror games. I'm man enough to tell you that.
Dude, I mean, imagine playing that game in VR, dude. I couldn't do it. I don't think I couldn't do that.
Nope.
Yeah, so next is Crashlands. It's a $15 game free. Again, guys, you don't have to even install it. You just go in there, you click give it to me, and it goes into your inventory. You can choose to install it or not. It's a free game. I mean, like, why would you pass that up? So Crashlands is a game came out back in 2015. Time Magazine Top 10 Games of 2016. Craft, battle, quest your way through Crashlands, a story-driven crafting ARPG overflowing with sass. I've spent many hours playing this game on my phone. It's an original mobile game, and I loved it on mobile, honestly. And it just goes on and on and on. Tons of gameplay. It's all skill-based action, huge crafting system, a lot of, every creature you kill, you could basically turn it into new equipment. I recommend it. I had a lot of fun, so if you get a chance, just give it a shot. It's a fun cute little game. I want to see more from the developers. So yeah. that's your Epic Game Store news. Keep an eye out. Project Zero from a indie Russian development team called Nplex Games LLC is coming out this week, May 5th. It's another survival MMO but it's set in a sci-fi environment. So we had Last Oasis just come out. Ark released an update, so this game's going to be along the lines of a Rust or an Ark or a Last Oasis, but there's more of an MMO portion to it. So we're not really sure. There's skepticism around how it's going to do, but keep your eyes out. Look at the reviews. Let's see how this thing does on May 5th. I'm going to try it out probably.
Yes. Cool, man. So speaking of installing games on your device, so everyone's heard of The Last of Us. So I think it's a PlayStation 3 exclusive originally. Now it's compatible with PS4. The Last of Us Part 2 is coming out soon. I don't have the exact date, but here's something interesting I thought was insane. The Part 2 is going to require a minimum of 100 gigabytes of space on your PS4. 100 gigabytes. Okay, that's insane. I mean, like a Call of Duty on PC. I don't know exactly, but it's definitely less than that. And think of all the different environments in there. That's a core. So
that tells me that they need to go back and render it a couple more times and compress it. And I just feel like they could have done a better job. It shouldn't be that big.
Yeah, I'm like, why is it so large? I have no idea. I mean, obviously I'm not a game developer, but I'm assuming that it's because the level of detail and visual fidelity in the game is probably top notch. Some of the screenshots that I've seen are pretty insane. The level of detail and like the faces that they have for the characters and the detail on the beards, and like I'm sure all the environments are probably the same. But just to put that into perspective for you guys, that's a quarter of the total space of a PS4 out of the box. I'm sure you can probably attach external hard drives and things to it, but a quarter of your space on your PS4 will be dedicated to The Last of Us Part 2. Not only that, but it's going to release on multiple discs. So one disc is going to be for gameplay, I guess, and the other one is for like data. So I think Red Dead Redemption. I read that Red Dead Redemption 2 also originally released that way. So I guess you have like an install disc and then actually a gameplay disc. So pretty crazy.
Makes sense. Red Dead was another graphically intense game. I installed it on my computer, and it was like 120 gigabytes of space, which is just unheard of, man. It was just it was just taking up basically everything, and you have to put it on an SSD or else it'll take you 5 minutes to load between screens.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well,
exactly. So interesting.
So that's pretty cool. So are you looking into it? Do you think you're going to grab it up, or just more or less just kind of interested to see how it's going?
I just thought it was interesting that a game requires that much space. I mean, I've only been in the PC world for a little bit when it comes to gaming, so I don't really know like what the standard is there for install space, but I thought 100 gigabytes is insane considering that's 4 gigs. I don't own a PlayStation, so I think it's a PlayStation exclusive at this point, so I won't be playing it for now.
But I think standard is like 60 gigabytes for a larger game. These games that are like double that, it's just, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's excessive.
It is. I don't know. Maybe someday they'll come out with 100 terabyte hard drives. And then that won't be a problem. So, well, that's all we really had. That's all we had for the video game news. So again, guys, check out Epic Game Store. Look out for Population Zero when it comes out on May 5th. And if you guys are interested and you got the disc space, pick up The Last of Us. That's the podcast. I had fun.
That does it. That was fun. That was a shorter one than usual. Don't forget, if you guys are interested in seeing us play and stream For the King, you can check it out on YouTube, or you can come watch the recorded video on Twitch. And make sure you check us out live next week. We'll be picking a different game to play, or maybe it'll be the same one. I guess it's really all depending on how we're feeling. But we're going to be doing this same format, I think, for a little bit and seeing how it goes. We're going to be streaming some games for about an hour before, and then we'll be starting the show, the regular podcast, after that. And of course, as always, you can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, all the major podcast players. So make sure you give us a follow in all those spots. Leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, whatever it is. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you leave us a comment down here in the comments section below. Give us a subscribe, all that good stuff. We're trying to grow this show, as we say always. So please tell a friend, and we appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, and if you guys stuck around through the Twitch broadcast, go ahead, drop us a follow. We appreciate any support, and we're up to suggestions, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We certainly are having fun during this all, so hope
Yes.
you guys are too.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers,
Cheers to
guys.
you, and cheers to the Tiger King. Cheers to this guy.
Yes, cheers, guys. We're gonna go ahead and stop the podcast portion of it, but stick around if you want to chat. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
and stop recording. Adios. Have a good one.
Bye bye.